It's not just oil and gas prices. The war in Iran is also having a significant impact on the price of fertilizer, and that's adding even more pressure to American farmers. The Middle East is home to some of the world's largest fertilizer plants. About a third of the world's fertilizer actually passes through the Strait of Hormuz. And the timing here, as farmers are preparing for their spring planting season, that too is important. Higher prices to grow and to transport your food, of course, can also drive up the prices that you pay at the grocery store. Joining me now is John Boyd Jr. He's the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, it's good to have you back with us this morning. I mean, just walk us through. I was struck by, it's my understanding that most U.S. farms do use fertilizer made in North America, but there was one corn and soybean farmer from Illinois who told CNN he can't even get a price at this point on a key fertilizer component because prices are rising so quickly. What are you seeing?
Well, you know, price of fertilizer is up 40%. That's anywhere between $140 and $200 a metric ton. And for the average farmer in this country, that's going to mean an additional $100,000 bottom line cost in this country. And, you know, what's alarming to me is we have, what my staff told me this morning, 194 farm foreclosures pending. And we can't get the help to help them, but we have $1 billion a day for this war. And the reception we're getting from corporate America and foundations is deplorable that they're not coming to the aid of these farmers that are in foreclosure. So here we, on top of all that, now we can't get fertilizer. In my own hometown, I haven't been able to secure an order of fertilizer from my own farming operation. So wow. I'm speaking as someone who is experiencing this right now. And the Agriculture Secretary told CNN, I believe that, you know, farmers already have purchased fertilizer. They already have it. And she's out of touch if she really believes that, because I'm telling you, the farmers that I met with this past weekend, none of them had secured fertilizer for this year, and many were behind in their farm notes. So this is a farm crisis, you know. In any other part of the world, if you know, we lose 15,000 farms last year, that would be a national crisis. But here at home, it just doesn't seem to get the attention that it deserves from the American people here.
You said that you just said the Agriculture Secretary, I believe your words were, is out of touch. She doesn't understand what's actually happening. I know you have been really vocal, especially over the last year as you were dealing with tariffs, specifically as you were dealing with the U.S.-China trade war, a major issue for soybean farmers. What has the response been when you've reached out to lawmakers, when you've reached out to officials in the administration? Are they taking your calls? Are they listening to your concerns?
Well, Congress has taken that calls. We did have a meeting on the Hill there, and I expressed the need for more that type of meetings. But the U.S. Ag Secretary has not came to the table. They have not granted us a meeting. And that's why I'm saying if they have not met with the largest organization in the United States that represents Black and other farmers of color and haven't had any dialogue, you're definitely out of touch with American farmers, because we're farmers too. So what I'm saying is that, you know, farmers had fertilizer, was able to secure fertilizer last year. That was before the tariffs, people. These policies that the president has put in place have driven American farmers out of business. And you're going to see more farmers on the foreclosure blocks in the coming months, because this administration keeps saying, oh, this is a short-term problem. The problem with oil and fertilizer is going to be short term. And the president said, you know, when oil prices go up to $100 a barrel, you know, they make money. Who is they? Because America's farmers are losing money, you know, $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. Mm-hmm. And I have a tractor that holds 100 gallons. People, that's $500 every time I fill it up. And I'm already struggling out here. So where's the urgency of now to help farmers like myself? And those 194 farmers who are facing foreclosure, where's the urgency of now from somebody in this country to help us?
For more analysis on this, we're joined from Washington by agriculture expert Vanessa Garcia Polanco. She's also a government relations expert at the National Young Farmers Association. Thanks so much for being here with us. I really appreciate it. So on the fertilizer piece of this, just to start with, the U.S. makes most of its own fertilizer right here at home. So break down for us why a shipping lane on the other side of the world still hits American farmers this hard.
Yeah, definitely. What we see is that American farmers are still heavily dependent on inputs for abroad, and that fertilizers is one of them. Even with all our domestic production, we have not been able to be completely self-reliant and self-sufficient. And we have seen those shocks before. For example, when the war on Ukraine started, we saw also a spike on fertilizer prices. So even we would like to have more resilient, domestic resilient production for fertilizers, we're still heavily dependent on the ones from abroad.
Hmm. Okay, so when the Strait of Hormuz shut down and fertilizer, not just fertilizer, but fuel prices as well started going through the roof. I mean, what were farmers telling you?
We're definitely hearing that farmers are just more concerned about the increasing cost of production. Increase on fuel prices trickle down to increased prices and volatility in other prices against the food supply chain and in the production chain that farmers use. Anything that needs to be transported to the United States internally and domestically will see an increase in prices because it is just more expensive to transport that input for the farm, let that be mechanization, let that be fertilizer, let that be seeds, or many other inputs that farmers use. It's just more expensive to get it to where the farmer needs, where it's coming from. So all that trickles down to an increaser cost of production.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the cost is going up. I mean, many farmers here, I guess at this time, as I mentioned, it's basically planting season. So what happens then if a farmer just can't get the fertilizer they need in time or they can't afford it?
Farmers are really resilient, so we hope and trust that they will be able to create some flexibility on the farm to maybe adapt to other inputs. But at the same time, that requires a lot of resources and technical assistance. And farmers may not be able to pivot that fast in one growing season to the adaptability. What we may also see is that we may see the Department of Agriculture use their authority to increase domestic production. Again, we have seen this before when the war in Ukraine started, and we saw over $200 million go to increase domestic production.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah, just curious because you mentioned sort of the need to be flexible and to perhaps change crops and so on. I mean, that's easier, I guess, for bigger farms. Your group focuses a lot on the little guys, small farms and farmers who are just starting out. I imagine, for them, they're going to get hit a lot harder by this than the massive corporate farms. Is that right?
no, in the contrary, smaller farms tend to be more resilient and more adaptable because they're able to shift to all the geopolitical and market shifts better. When monoculture, bigger farms, it's harder for them to adapt. Like a big farm cannot change the crop that they're growing now.
Mm.
Like they may change the practices on how to manage their growing without fertilizers and different inputs, but like actually changing a lot of their business plan, this lane is hardly impossible.
So then, we're talking about farmers, but for folks at home, I mean, how does all of this end up affecting what we're paying at the grocery store or what will be available on our table?
Definitely. Farmers are really worried that have to transfer the increase of cost to their consumers. That's something that they don't want to do. Every farmer that I talk to tells me, I don't want to have to increase my prices because I'm not going to break even, but I still have to make break even. At the same time, we are really worried that it's going to create more erosion in consumer confidence in our domestic production. So we are really going to probably see an increase in prices and food prices in a moment that we have not still have high inflation.
Yeah, something so many people can't afford with the rising price of gas and everything else going up as well. I want to end with this. The Farm Bureau is asking the White House and Congress for help. What's the one thing that needs to happen right now to help keep these farmers afloat?
We definitely need more financial assistance directly from the Department of Agriculture because farmers have a lot of economic uncertainty since last year, so this is only adding on. So we would like to see action from the USDA and Congress as financial relief for farmers, not only tied to economic uncertainty and tariffs and the geopolitical situation, but to really help farmers create a safety net that actually makes them viable.
Yeah, let's certainly hope there's bipartisan cooperation to help out our farmers because it affects all of us in the end, obviously. Vanessa Garcia Polanco, thank you so much for speaking with us. Really appreciate it.